just in time to say, Jay Hayes, West Side, fake news, sir. I made it in the nick of time, not the knickers.
Yep. Just in the knickers of time.
Just in the nick. It's great to be here, team. I am as tired as a Sherpa at the moment. I have been lugging around children to give them the best possible holidays they could have. There was no time out for Dad, and I am knackered, says any man that's been kicked in the knackers. Guys and gals, we have just gone into and commenced the Australia Day weekend. Fantastic for the police with the demerit points and the it's not about the money. But look after yourselves. Don't drink and drive. Australia Day needs to be as simple as possible. As simple as the photo that I thought, what am I going to put as the background for you for the Australia Day special leading into it? And it was this photo I took 2 days ago. I was trying to take a photo at Merriweather Bars of what was in the background, and it wasn't until I realised the significance of a father and his son, replace it with a mother and a daughter, it doesn't matter, and you get a message. And that is the simplicity of being Australian. If this is your first time here, subscribe and like and enjoy. And remember that life can be as complicated or as simple as you like it to be. It doesn't have to be military. You could collect cans, bottles, etc. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't be bad if you know where to collect them, and be an entrepreneur that way through hard work.
Yep.
But we're here for you no matter what your journey is, and we're happy to hear your opinions without quarantining, leaving comments up unless they're attacking others within the chat needlessly. And welcome. We've got Lauren here too.
Yep. Hi.
Hello, Lauren. How you going?
Good.
Lady of few words. And Galadar is here.
Yeah.
Fugly is here. We've got Jay Hayes, who is from Westside. Have we got any Americans here? Put a hand of colour up or something there to denote you're here. Dave D got his box today. Brad Pitt would say, "What's in the box?" We know what's in there if you've seen the movie Seven.
Oh my gosh, that was a good film.
It was a great film, really great. Sloth is who I am. Simon Powell, g'day mate. Fitbit just down here, mate. It's the hurdle. It's here for you. You know that. We've said probably February would be a great date to get that going. Kaz's shares are doing really well at the moment. Not well enough to share them, but they're doing well. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm telling you now, QPM seems like it's doing well on the ASX.
That's good. Yeah.
We've got Daz here, who is our favourite Hyundai driving guy. And if you watch the 2021 Tuscan doesn't sound as good. It's a magic looking car. It's similar to the iX35 Elite. I reckon you'd really enjoy that facelift of a car that even comes with air conditioning. We've got 6'3" Yankee JP, a sniper in the background. We've got C Gray here as well.
Yep, that's Connor.
Yeah, it is.
We just call him Mr. Grey now.
Grey man. And we don't mean Yoda or the wise one.
No, exactly.
Do you reckon Cookie Monster always looks like a sex offender with his eyes like that? Or does he get away with it because of his age?
I don't know. I've never thought of Cookie Monster like that.
You should. You're a lady. Ryan Ward, great to have you here. I always think of Ryan Ward's a channel as well, isn't it? A massive one.
I don't know.
Goss Cole.
Yeah, Timmy's here.
Timmy's here. So is Corey Jones. I'm fine, mate. I'm fine. Today we've got Full Metal Jacket here too. Great to have you, Steve. Oh, the ladies say. And we've got Nicholas Metcraft, who is just below Timmy Doust. Definitely not first in, and not tonight, Tommy. Fugly, hey Kaz, how's the whole guarantee Trump will win? Anything outside corruption I can't approve, can I? But I tell you what, there'll be some people very upset that come from the southern, below the southern borders of the USA, to find out, I believe over 10 million people just got immunity, and basically their citizenship. What's that going to do? Don't know, mate.
Hang on a minute. I just have to interject here. I actually think it's a little bit rich, Fugly, asking you about American politics when last week he was whinging about it.
It is true. I've got to talk to Fugly offline about that one. At the moment, your spanner is about that close to being too rusty
Yeah,
to use, mate.
I think that's rich when he's winding you up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving right along.
We've got Jay
Gabriel.
Hayes.
Gabriel's here. Hi, Gabriel.
Hey, Gabriel's one of my favourite names. I think if I had a son, I'd call him either Gabriel, which is the archangel, isn't it?
Yep.
Or I'd name it after Oliver Twist.
Yep.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Yep.
It's a beautiful name.
Yep.
I always think from the person's perspective that's actually hearing the name for the first time. What's your name? Oliver. Oh, that's a nice name.
Lovely name. Yep.
Dean. Sounds like someone holding the balls inside a bell, then hitting it with something hard. Dean.
No, Dean's an elegant name, you know, if you look into its origins. It's a good name.
Says people whose name is not Dean.
Yeah, well, actually, that's my maiden name.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it is. It's actually a lot of my children's middle name as well.
Do you know what the Japanese word for ham is?
Yeah, I do, because you told me.
What is it?
Ham.
That's right. It's the same.
I actually have an interesting oceanic life fact for you.
Send it to us.
Yeah, I will. I was going to bring it up at the next No Safe Spaces if you want me to save it. Well, you'll be impressed.
If you can save it, it'd be good, because I wouldn't mind putting a few of those out. I know the
so-
people that actually the people that actually watch the No Safe Spaces actually like them, you know.
Yeah.
And I love doing them.
Yeah, good.
Guess who's here?
Who?
Senor Culpee, he who dances on rooftops beside Billy Ocean.
Yeah, better him than me. I'm so scared of heights.
Me too. I'm shit scared of heights. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow or Sunday, Carl. For those that don't know, I've been away for a week. You know, I've been off with a little daughter and her buddy and Achilles. No air conditioning in my car at the moment. Need to upgrade. And I tell you, it was fantastic. But my back is as burnt as a bloody convict's at the moment on the railways.
You need a massage and a nice hot bath.
I trusted my daughter when I went on with the cruise, love, and I said, can you just put some lotion on my back too, not some lotion on the skin, or it gets the hose again?
Yeah, exactly.
And I swear she just drew a couple of circles and X's, and now I feel like I've had the lash.
If you will look at your back, it'd be sunburnt except for some circles and X's.
It might even say Dad sucks, I don't know. And the worst thing is, because we had to share the double bed, and I'm a very hot sleeper, naturally you sleep completely clothed when you're beside your kids. And, you know, and it was pretty hot.
Yeah.
But you got to do those things, you know, because it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'm glad. Memories, making memories.
Yeah, not nightmares.
Exactly.
Look, it's amazing at the moment. We've got more than 40 people for the muster for the platoons that are going into Kapooka. And we've got at least 4, there could be more, but I can only find 4, that are actually going on Australia Day this year. Happy Australia Day. Australia Day every day, but we just forget it sometimes. You know, it's not good for lamb. It's not good for prawns. They get the chop. You know, but out of respect for them for going to school, let's respect them enough to pick up a cricket bat, go and play a game.
Yep.
Congratulations and welcome to those that have just come to Australia and become Australian citizens.
Yes,
Fantastic.
indeed.
Great to have you here.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing about Australia Day.
It's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and what better way to make someone feel welcome than the first day they come here? You pass them the bat. Don't give them any special teas. No. Over the fence, you're out, mate. And probably dog bitten and bindies as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Welcome to Australia.
Yeah. But we've got 4 people. Hey, Trixie, how you going, mate? Trixie, when I saw your name before, you said something like "g'day" or something in comments, and I actually thought it was like a stripper or someone, because we get a lot of porn bots, and I might have actually got rid of one of your messages because I thought it was a link to porn bot. So, sorry, mate. How you going? Just being straight up. What else? So we've got 4 members that are going into Kapooka, oath or affirmation, hand up, not on a slant. That'd be 1945 sort of stuff.
Yeah, don't do that.
And they're going to be swearing oath or affirmation. This will be the last time in their lives they don't either have a legacy, a uniform in their cupboard, not a sailor, unless they're a sailor, JJ.
Yeah.
And so, what a poignant date to go in as. How proud would you be enlisting on Australia Day?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's been great actually seeing everybody that's been going recently, because some of these folk have been with us for a long time and we've watched them grow and we've got to know them, and now we see them off. It's quite emotional for me.
It is. And it's quite sad when you see the channel downsize, then upsize, and Constantina, as you spend so much time with people on conversations, and then all of a sudden they get their marching dates and they're gone. But then out of nowhere, when they least need to make a phone call because they're successful in their journey, I get so many calls that call back and say, Kaz, you're right, I love it. This is the funniest thing I saw, I can't repeat here. Because I always ask everyone, what is, and before I go on to the names of who's going to be in 26 Platoon, let me tell you something. I always ask, and I always state, in the first 24 hours you're at Kapooka, which is not impossible, and it's impossible to fail if you're prepared, and if you come to this channel, you're going to pass. But you're going to see some demonstrations of human weakness and emotion that you would hardly expect from someone who is volunteering to actually be at the place of their choosing on this amazing day. But it is just too much for some people. It doesn't mean they're quitting, but some people just lose the plot.
Yeah.
And it's, when you look back, at the time, you're probably thinking similar, but going, oh, Jesus, what does he know that I don't know? What's about to happen?
Yeah.
But it is so goddamn funny when you look back on it. We had one guy that claimed to be blind. I can't see. It's the stress. It's got me. And all they'd said is get out of bed.
Man, that's a little bit like in Band of Brothers. Didn't that happen to someone?
Oh.
Except they were under a bit more stress than being told to get out of bed.
Hey, we've got Jeff Barrington here. G'day, Kaz. Headed to Kapooka in February, March. Loving your content, mate, and cheers. Jeff, awesome. Make sure you do change your name for that social media reasons. Guys and gals, it is sad that we're in a position where we have to say that you can't put up your name loud and proud, and everyone should understand that when you put a Facebook post out, as long as it's not about the army, as long as you're not saying something about someone who's in your chain of command, you're not speaking on behalf of the entire army.
Yep.
I'm doing that.
You're free to. You're a free man now.
Feels funny saying that. Corey Jones, I'm heading into Kapooka for FO, Fort Observer. Can anyone tell me shit about them? I've heard artillery isn't the funnest gig. Cheers. A lot of army is not fun during patches. But if you're an FO, you want to get posted to Townsville, because most of the time the FOs will be integrated in battle groups working alongside infantry, not in a battery inside a artillery unit. So that way you're making friends with the people you're going to be sleeping beside, eating noodles with, whispering with, as you go out field, etc. Those that you're supporting, those that you're trying to keep alive. So go to Townsville, that'll happen. If you go to Darwin, it probably won't. I'll tell you that. So these magnificent men in their flying machines that are going on January. We've got Sam. We've got Senor Cram. We've got Lanko, Mr. Lanko. I won't read out the full names, team. And we've got Scotty. And there's probably more. Guys and gals, you need to go back to the video of when you're joining. Okay, and you need to put your name in. But do me a solid. Do a bit of research. Don't just put in when you're leaving. Actually look through all of the comments and write a list of those that are going the day before you and the day you're going. Let me explain something to you. When I say 26 platoon, that is for the people that are from the 25th and the 26th. But no one wants to be the 25th of January. 26th, 26-minute abs. The reason why I say that is because it's a bigger day. And what happens is it takes 2 days to get everyone in Australia into one location, getting a shit haircut, Sinead O'Connor, Nothing compares. You'll all get that at the same time, all right? And it's not even free, which sucks. And only guys get it. I'd love it if they made that change for equality and went, ladies, step up. You like G.I. Jane? You can look like her. And what better way to stop guys and girls from rolling around together than make them all look the same?
They should be. It should be equal, because there's got to be a reason why they made you guys do that in the first place. And I'm imagining it's like workplace safety and to make you all the same. So I don't see why there is such an inequality with it.
I don't know.
In my opinion, it's rubbish.
Oops, that was loud. I'd opened that beer just then for our 4 that are leaving on the 26th. And don't get me wrong, we've already had some that left in the last few days as well. 3 platoons, basically a month, will go to Kapooka. And there'll be Army Reservists as well. The world's about to begin. Fantastic world. The bedrock. Okay, the bedrock of common sense. Where you learn what not to do by watching others make mistakes. We've got Senior Carl P there, who's saying, in my session yesterday, they tried to push me into mortar and into mortars. Mortars is in infantry and artillery. They must be low on numbers. Yeah, be very careful what they push you towards, team, because one of the things you can come to on this channel is if you come here and you subscribe and you like and you say hello to Lauren and you're nice to each other in chat, I'll give you the good oil on the cause that it's not fair for Army to say the cause you don't want to go to, because it just might be your flavour. But what I don't want you to do is to see you get pressured, corralled, shoehorned into somewhere that you go, this is not what I expected, and it probably isn't, because you probably had what you needed to get out of it. Your plan B was going to be, but they don't care about that because they've got numbers they need to meet. And if there's a list, then chances are it's going to something that no one wants to do. The unnecessary evil, so to speak, Lauren.
Yeah, exactly. Nicole's there saying that females had to get all their hair cut off if they couldn't get it plaited, put in a bun and secured under. No, they shouldn't even have the option of putting it in a bun or plaited or whatever. Should just go. If the men's stuff's going, theirs should go.
Yeah. What if your back hair is that thick? It's connected to your butt hair and connected to your head hair. Do they just keep going?
Yeah.
We've got a goddamn troll here. Did I see Kristen's name up in there then?
No, I didn't. No, that's my point, Nicole. You shouldn't have to plait your hair. You shouldn't even be given the option. You shouldn't be given the option of the bun. If men can't plait their hair or have a bun, the women shouldn't be allowed to either. There was the chief there saying that there's no inequality. Well, there's one.
He's full of shit if he says that. But I don't. You know what? I don't expect. Where I'm lucky is, I don't expect equality. When I joined the Army, I understand. I said that I want this corps. I know I'm walking more if I go to infantry. I know that I'm going to have a more boring job if I become a storeman. We pick what we're going to do, so we can't complain with the end state, despite the fact it's impossible for us to actually know what our gig is going to be and whether it suits us until we get there, and whether the people that we're going to be with are the kind of people we'd like to have as a partner.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm really big for the women should definitely have their head shaved.
Wow.
Absolutely. Because if that's going to stop them doing the job, well, then that answers everyone's question.
Well, I guess when you think to yourself that committed ladies will shave their head for cancer all the time.
For sure. And you know what? I bet most of them would. It'll be no problem. But it shouldn't even be an option if men aren't given the option. Because here's the thing. Why women should be offended by all this stuff instead of being offended by the wrong stuff. They should be offended that, oh, you think I can't do it without my pretty hair. Get stuffed.
Wouldn't that make the entire platoon or the people shit himself and realise that this is not Kansas anymore, Dorothy? If the first person that got a haircut was always Lucy, Sarah, come here, wah,
yep.
There it goes, and then a ponytail goes flying out the window and lands on the ground. They're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I was about to go, yeah, just a bit off the side, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just how I feel. If the men can't do it, then the women can't either. They should be demanding that kind of equality because that's something they can do. If they're demanding all this other equality, well, let's start with jewellery and hairdos first.
Yeah. And they did have that rule, what Nicole is saying there, to give it the chop when I was in there in 1991 too. But mysteriously, everyone gets it done. They give you enough time that you'll still get it up because it's also not get it up. It's because you've also got other people to help you with the buddy system, get your hair up too. So it's their way of sort of getting away. There he is, Senor Cram.
There he is.
What's going to be your last meal? You go early next week. You're going to go to the land of square gating. Will you even forget to goddamn walk? Right foot going the same time with right leg, looking like a dick.
I'm excited for him.
So am I. Australia Day. What better day to join? How Aussie is that?
JP's got an interesting point. He
Go.
said the crew cut was invented by the Romans to stop them getting their throats cut from behind.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think how that works.
They could probably be grabbed by their hair.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm a little bit slow on the uptake sometimes, team.
Yeah, me too. I get confused so easily. I've been having so many blonde moments lately. It's not even funny.
Well, look, we had a great young fella from our channel shit himself the other day because he'd also bought a watch, and he bought a G-Shock and bought an army green coloured G-Shock, and he was nervous when he said, "Kaz, is this going to be good for Kapooka?" And I reminded him, it's normally it's a black watch that you're supposed to have, uniformly black watch. I wouldn't have a problem with someone have a green watch, but you may not be able to wear it, okay, with your uniform, or you may have to wear a watch cover, you know, which is normally a sock that goes under it and then over the top to stop the glare of the screen, etc. Anyway.
Yeah. You know, black watch is my favourite tartan.
Tartan. I knew her.
You probably know more than one.
I thought that was a British girl going out in the town.
You cheeky man.
Tartan is the best look on miniatures too.
Yeah.
2 seconds there, Lauren. While we've got Pete here, I just want to let him know, when you go into the hallway, or the bus as they'd say in New Zealand, or probably UK, you can yell out, "Sam, Lanko, Scotty, in the trenches to me." Because you've got at least 4 people going with you, mate. We had a shitload that went on 11 platoon. How many do we have? We've got Benny, we've got Sophie, we've got Jared, we've got Thomas, we've got Pedro, we've got Kagini, we've got Cabe, we've got Benny, you know, and I think there's a few more as well.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, some of those folk have been with us for quite a long time.
I didn't want to see them go.
I'm going to miss them, but they're living their dreams.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Australia Day. The Marcus, I see a Roman is up there. Good to have you here, mate. The oath or affirmation. You think about it. It is one of the only careers in the entire country, if not world, other than law enforcement, where you will walk in, bam, stick your hand up, and by oath or affirmation swear that your word means something. And that's a really important thing when you see young men and women and parents watching their young ones, when they actually see them swear on oath or affirmation, God or Queen, you get to choose, and then read out the oath to defend your country that you love of all domestic and threats abroad. You know, that's a really big thing.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Don't take it lightly. It's a commitment. It's a covenant between you and the nation.
It is. And sadly, I had Nicole. I had a little bit of an argument with me mum yesterday, which is it upsets me because she's nearly 80 years old.
Yeah.
And she just could not get over how angry I was about getting this Biden stuff rammed down our throats from Tracy Grimshaw and other such novelties who would be deeply offended if anyone even said anything slightly bad about them. And they were just reading out bullshit over and over again. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. And I won't go through what the conversation was. And she goes, you need to let it go. He was blah, 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 blah. And I said, Mum, I'm a guy that swore through oath or affirmation.
Yep.
For more than 24 years of service and got sent overseas by bad politicians. I know what it looks like when the wrong people send the right people on an operational tour and don't give you the tools to either win, okay, or to assist and help. And I said, I've been that guy. Yeah, it worked really well a couple of times, and it worked really badly another time. So, but you don't want to say to your mum, you haven't worn a uniform. You're a spectator in this conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was tough.
But here's the thing, is that, people might get annoyed that we talk about politics, but what do you think the military is?
It's a number one fuse that's going to send you somewhere.
Exactly. And so it's really important that if you're not interested in politics, it would help you if you develop a keen, at least start watching what's going on in the world, because it will affect what you do in the future.
Mm. Well, this is one. What do you think about this, Peter, or Jay, or Michael Stott? Michael Stott's probably the best one for this. When they talk about, hey, I'd prefer someone with an education, for example, Lauren. Mm-hmm. And you're going, okay, let's extrapolate that a little bit. Someone will maybe only date someone that's been to university. Okay, I get it. You want to walk some common ground, etc. But if you're going to default go for someone you call that educated, they're educated on a thin topic, potentially, magnitudes deeper on that subject than anyone else that hasn't done it, but still completely oblivious to every single other subject that's at that university. And then it just comes down to what's their wisdom of the rest of the world. So you're only in an advantage, if any, on other people that have been academically challenged in only that thin sliver of what you're talking about. But if you've been a cop, if you've been a paramedic, if you've been a soldier, a nurse, a sailor, seaman, or airman, or whatever, or a traveller. Maybe you've never worn a uniform other than a school uniform. You never wore that because you come from the Blue Mountains.
Yep.
If you've travelled the world, you're going to have an education and a wisdom that transcends above that education, where the language that you speak is carpentry.
Yeah.
And you might be amazing. You might be a dressmaker. You could be an entrepreneur. There are so many things that you could do that are not military, where your wisdom and your knowledge far surpasses those that stay within the comforts of what they call academia or education. Who knows less about the world than a university professor? Probably not many.
Depends on what you're talking about, like what speciality. If it's a doctor or a surgeon, I'd want them to have studied for a very long time.
But let's look at that. What does a doctor mean these days? I used to think it was someone that had a stethoscope and said, this is going to be cold, or hold your breath, son. Now there's so many things where you realise that you're not actually talking to a doctor. When they talk about a doctorate, you go, well, I want a doctor to be a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm talking medical doctors.
So
you need them. And for psychiatrists, there's a big difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist, and it's worth knowing what the difference is. You've got a counsellor and then you've got an actual doctor. So there's a big difference in that too. But talking even about dressmakers, John Paul is one of the best. JP's one of the best dressmakers there is. He does all this stuff in his house, and he is self-taught.
And you just said that while Darren Smith, one of my best friends, who's about to turn the big 5-0, we don't mean the police force, hold the bat in the air.
Oh, congratulations.
Don Bradman halfway.
That's
the most common shot man on the Western Front, I think his name was Darren Smith. Whoever that lady went back to in the First Fleet, I tell you, she's had some kids. But Darren Smith, funny bloke, he was in Rwanda with me, and and all the funniest shit. And we got absolutely beasted by bugs in Tyndall on Kangaroo 92 when he used his repellent, our only repellent, to burn ants without a boredom, and then the mosquitoes came, and we paid the price, my friend. We paid the price.
50 is a great age for men.
I think it's a success age because the most dangerous time for men is just before they get to 50. That's when we start to face base camp to beyond, where we start to think to ourselves, I think my time is done here. Maybe my usefulness is over.
Yeah, it's not true.
What do I have to offer? And that's just something that sits in a man's soul. I don't know what it is, but it's there.
Yeah. Men are just, in my opinion, just coming into their prime at that age.
Yeah. I think men just start to actually be able to go to the pub and behave themselves probably at 50 years old.
Yeah, I have very interesting conversations with men who are like 45 and above. They're the best conversations ever.
Smithy, it's JP down there, Reezy from the battalion, remember? And the guy that always looked like his name started with haircut, that man. And now I think he's only got a scrap more hair than you, mate. Study occupation and education give people certain perception in small talk. What do you do? Yeah.
Exactly. Some people, look, I left school, formal education, at 15, but I actually, have like quite a good broad general knowledge, and I'm a self-taught artist, and the only thing that going to university and learning art would have got me is networking connections. And I've taught myself everything I know, and I'm kind of glad about it because I haven't been fenced in to this is how you do it.
Yep.
I've found my own way to do it.
Absolutely. And you trained with the big boys by being around a male-dominated industry where you jumped in feet first.
Sure did.
There's an interesting one from Stoddy here, and I'll throw this one out to him. Stoddy's going into counselling and psychology and that sort of stuff. That's a really funny industry, whereas that can be potentially as rewarding or mundane, depending on one thing.
Well, you're holding people's lives in your hands.
You are, but it's the patience that you're dealing with. You can
exactly.
be dealing with like the lame duck, people that are actually suffering from the fact that they've actually haven't achieved anything in their life and have anxiety because of that, or whatever. Or you could be taking your education and working in an insane asylum in Portugal, on some island that you can't get to other than a rowboat, and then people go on Shutter Island.
Isn't that more of a psychiatrist sort of job?
The psychiatrist is the one that gives you the actual controlled drugs, etc.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much a counsellor can do for someone on Shutter Island.
No, probably nothing. They can rub your back and go, here's the cup with your pills that the other guy said.
Yeah, but the tools that you get from a good psychologist are really good if you do the work. It's you who has to do the work and put them into practice in your life. But there is some dud psychologists out there, and you've got to get the right fit for you.
Look, you do, and you have to be working with the same, with the right clientele too. Wait 2 seconds. Zane, that's a cool name too. You'll never be on a duty board. Now imagine if you had really, like Stoddy's a pretty open book, but imagine if you didn't have much wisdom, you hadn't had serious relationships or serious loss in your life, and then you're suddenly sitting in front of people, or you're opinionated, and you're trying to give them fixes instead of listening to them talk. Because a lot of the people that go to psychiatrists as opposed to psychiatrists, a lot of them is out of loneliness as well.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. I know, I have my regular appointments with my therapist, and it's really important because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to do half the things that I do.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be able to be stable, or to be able to, if I have hit a wobble, I wouldn't be able to pull myself back on track.
Yeah. I go to my psychologist
Mm-hmm.
to get out my anger, the subjects that I can't talk about around family, and those that actually are producing that pent up bloody moods. But I go to the psychiatrist when I want a solution.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of talk therapy. I do a lot of different sort of things. You know, I've done the eye movement, the EMDR, and I've done a lot of, like, a little bit of biofeedback and some exposure therapy and things like that. So I've always got an actual, at the moment I'm doing like a, written by Babette Rothschild, doing some, reconnection therapies and that. So there's actual therapies which, I wish. The problem is that I remember JP once, he won't mind me telling you this, he went to a psychologist once, and she was really, really young, and she mostly dealt with traumatized teenage girls. And she didn't have a clue what he was talking about, and gave him a pink notebook to write down how he felt in it. Now, look, that nearly tipped him over the edge. That was really damaging for him. So I think, life experience could have made all the difference there.
Yeah, it's true. Look, absolutely. You got to know how to play the client, and the best way to know is to talk with them and actually create some boundaries.
Yeah, she doesn't have to have been a veteran to be an effective psychologist for a veteran. You know, but some life experience and some wisdom would have really gone a long way.
Well, Carl P finds that the guns, the clay shooting is very therapeutic. Whatever works for you, works. We've got Enlistment, the dragon. He's out of here at the moment. Guys and gals, remember Australia Day, is an excellent day. It's here for you. Be careful not to always accept, especially if you're younger, the time and a half, the double time, all that sort of shit payment, instead of actually living your life and having these days strapped on the end of weekends, etc., and actually making a run of it and having a good time. Because the money is going to be gone. On every operational trip I've ever had, I've got nothing left from it, but then I ended up saving money and getting better at educating myself on money, but yeah.
Yeah, Zane's out of here as well. Night, Zane.
I get it, yeah. When you talk about craziness, a lot of people go, they're crazy.
Yeah, well, Mr. Patterson's quite right there. He said nurses do not just take care of physical wounds. He's exactly right. Yep. They're as close to angels that you're going to get.
Well, they're the ones that spend the time with you, and those little relationships you have with nurses is amazing.
Yeah.
They're there before treatments, they're there after, they're there for the long haul. They're there for a conversation, not a consultation. I think nurses have got an amazing bedside manner, and it's the reason why I think soldiers and nurses do so well, because they've both dipped into the Kool-Aid of life, so to speak.
Yeah, Darren Smith is right there saying that, army mates are best medicine. Well, that's peer support is really, really important. If you're not part of a community that understands you and has similar experiences, you could, you'll be lonely, and you don't need to be lonely. It's not good for people.
It's true. And Smithy is part of we accidentally got this right, every year we started God, how long ago was it, Smithy? We started doing reunions where we would travel, but except when we go to where Smithy lives, because he lives on Old McDonald's farm. Lovely place, can't beat it. What happens is everyone leaves their postcodes and goes to one area. So there's no escaping. You're just stuck there in the conversation. Normally 1,000 kilometres from where you live or more, and all it is rinse and repeat. Is coffees, breakfasts, chilling, drinking beers, eating KFC, absolutely taking the piss out of each other, and then adding bits of GST, MSG, bullshititis to almost everything you've ever done, where it almost sounds by the end of the trip like every one of us should have a VC. You know, nah, you, mate. You were the guy that spot. And we've spent so many years together. We know each other's children. It is the best thing. And there is no subjects that are quarantine, you know, except Lumpy when you talk about Tully, you know, and doing PT. Yeah.
JP doesn't like to talk about Tully either. I've got a question here from someone. Would you like it?
Yeah, go.
Okay, DC has said, "G'day, Kaz. Does the Army take family history into account for the psych assessment? My old man tried for infantry in his day, but failed the psych assessment from what I can remember him telling me."
Look, no, I would say the answer to that is no, but they will ask you, is there a history of mental illness in your family? Because what's going to happen is you're going to have a conversation. It's not a straight out fill in this, fill in that. There might be a census sort of thing where they put the circles over it, and if any are ticked, then that becomes a friction point that they can ask further questions on. But normally it just depends on how you respond to the questions that are asked, and do you say anything in a way that flags their concern. They're looking for something you say wrong, not something someone else has done. And that doesn't necessarily mean a bit of, you know, like the cogs are missing each other. That could be immaturity. That could be an arrogance, a personality disorder. It could be someone they think just will not be a good fit for the military, but at the same time doesn't know it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And the person doing the psych assessment will be the best person to know that.
Carl just said this channel is also his therapy.
Yep.
But what he doesn't know, and you should do this all the time, Carl, because I didn't realise it almost triggers me when I see there's only 3 hands, because that's like an incomplete people.
I swear you've got OCD. So many times you got to line things up and that.
Yeah, I just see it and I think, has someone got only one arm there?
Yeah. You're so funny. Why would you even think that? Yeah, don't let it replace regular proper therapy. You need a professional support team if you've got mental health issues, as well as a social support team. But here is a really great place to have a social support team, because there is a lot of us who do face challenges. You know, I have OCD, Mr. Patterson. There's no shame in it.
Yeah, look, I am absolutely, OCD when it comes to timings, and I think Smithy is too.
It's actually normal with PTSD.
Can you, or do you want me to explain, and let us know quickly down here, what does anxiety, if you could think in less than 30 words or so, what does anxiety, how would you best describe it? I'll describe to me what it means, and it's always about timings. I'll explain to you what I think anxiety tastes like.
I imagine it shows up different to lots of people, but Stoddy would be the best one to give us the book definition.
Book definition, absolutely.
What classifies as anxiety.
Carl got me again.
Yeah, because there's apparently quite a big difference between like a panic attack and an anxiety attack. So, things can give you mild anxiety, or they can give you really serious anxiety.
Yeah.
It depends on the person's trauma and their triggers and things like that, I think.
Well, it's true. Like, I become very, very aggressive if someone in my group is slow or doesn't get out of bed damn fast. When my time to get up, especially if I'm going somewhere, instant. It's like hallway 11. Hallway 11, instantly out of bed. There's no drama. Straight in the shower, done, and out the door. And I can't even sleep until I've got my shit ready to go. But to me, what it feels like is being out on the piss, and then you're going somewhere the next day. And now it is the next day, and you're having that last beer where you're going, one more, no, I don't care, I'll be good. And you get the taxi home, you wake up, it's a little bit later than what you want to get up, you realise you hadn't packed, the taxi doesn't turn up exactly on time to get to the airport. All of a sudden, when the taxi does turn up, You're watching the tick, 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 tick of the meter that's going way faster than what you thought it was. You feel like there's traffic that just magically Truman Show put in front of you. And it's that, are we going to make it? Aren't we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Aren't we going to make it? That panic the entire time where you check your phone, you check the meter, you look at the guy, you feel like you're part of some sort of slow down torture.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what it feels like when someone's forcing me into a position where I'm waiting for them, and it means I'm going to be late for something else, which is not even necessary. Or someone saying it's okay to be late, it's fine. I lose my shit. It's not fine. All right, it's not fine. You go to jail if you're in the army.
You're a bit like me, though. You like to be 5 minutes early wherever you're going.
That's late for me, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I like to be early too. I'd rather be sitting in the car 10 minutes before I've got to go somewhere than late. I can't stand being late.
I go to pick my daughter up an hour early,
Yeah.
Make a few phone calls, stand out there, watchdog, make sure there's no weirdos, which is impossible. It's Penrith.
Hey, Gav is here.
Hey, nice. Gav. Where is he? What's he got to say?
Just hey, team.
He's a man of few words.
Yeah, he is.
Well, we're going to Australia Day. This guy looks like he's using his son as a grown bar so he can shit in the ocean baths. That's not the case. He's spending a beautiful moment with his son as he goes into the long weekend for Australia Day. Took this photo 2 days ago. You can't see the whole photo. It was in Newcastle, storm weather. Absolutely amazing, some of the photography I got.
Beautiful right there.
Look, it's such a lovely spot. So lovely. And I just keep thinking of Australia Day. Sorry?
Yeah, you captured a beautiful moment.
Yeah, and I didn't realise that wasn't who I was taking a photo of.
Yeah.
And just captured this little moment. And it really chaps my ass that this guy would have loved that photo of him and his kid, because if I took the webcam out the way and these two banners, he's just in an expanse there by himself, I will actually move those banners for a second.
Let's look at it.
And you just realise that how simple life can be. So I'm just going to move the webcam off for a second, but for those that dig me scone or don't, it'll be a relief. Wait a sec.
That's beautiful photography.
Did that actually go off then?
The back on. I got a bit of lag, remember?
Okay. I don't know what happened. Well, what I'll do is I'll move that off for a second. Oh no! Oh, it's because I've got the bloody two. I've got the two.
At it.
I've got the two.
Doubled up.
The two webcams. But this photo, it's just them isolated just there.
Beautiful. Put it on the Patreon.
Yeah, it's just a really lovely Australia Day message that life can be simple, and you can put yourself in the position of the man, or you can put yourself in the position of the kid. You can put yourself in the position of the mother who's looking up and just looking there and going, I made the right decision with this guy. He might be a dick, but he's a great dad. There's a lot of messages inside this one. And I think Australia, the fact that we can do this and we can do this safely, you don't have to watch your back. There's no animal about to creep out and get you like it might be if you're in Nullarbor. It's just remember, this is what your life is meant to be like, as simple as possible. You can have aggressive conversations, and on the piss and in controlled environments. That's my chair, not my anus. Yeah, I really like it.
Sure, it was.
Yeah. ADHD 2. Is that what you've got, Maddie?
I don't have that.
What's that? What is ADHD 2?
So, I don't know.
Is there two versions?
Deficit hyperactivity disorder. I don't know what the 2 means.
No, that's what I meant. I don't know what the 2 means.
Yeah. Maybe he means 2 as in also.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm guessing, though. I could be totally wrong.
I suspect I've got that. All I did was ruin other people's careers when I was at school by being distracting, ruining their potential.
There's a cow.
Hey, it's Mr. Delegate. How you going, mate? Hey, Kaz, loving the stream. Just wondering when you go to Tully, how long are you there for? Not much online about it. There's 2 courses, Senior Delegate. Notsuka. He holds for 3 seconds and then down. Thank you very much, mate. To that's going to buy a piece of chicken for me to eat in front of my dog, who doesn't get the bone.
Oh, you're so cruel.
When you go to Tully, there's 2 courses. You can do the basic course and there is the advanced course. The basic course can be done by almost any corps, and that's going to introduce them to booby trapping. It's going to introduce them to so many different things operating in the jungle with a culmination point of the patrolling and time out, and that goes for about 12 days. And it's around the same amount of time also for the advanced course to Tully, but you go out bush almost straight away. You go out for nearly that 14 days straight away, 12 to 14 days. And, mate, one day in the jungle in Tully, it can be beautiful, when you're sitting there with the repellent on. And you guys are goddamn lucky. Do you know what you can buy now, Dave? Is Dave there?
He was before.
You can actually buy mosquito bands now, like these Beyond Blue bands. You can get them that last 24 hours that have got like a mosquito repellent in them. And that'd be fantastic. That should be in a ration pack that's in plastic that every soldier can wear. It's not because it's cool, it's because it gets rid of goddamn malaria, one of the biggest killers of humans on Earth. But, so Tully about 12 to 14 days, mate. It'll be enough. It's enough. I've been there for 6 weeks with Darren Smith, and that was hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ, I thought you were out of here, JJ.
No, is JJ here? No, JJ's just rocked up, I think.
The submarine. The Submariner. I'm not going to say where he lives, okay, but I didn't realise that we had the youngest squadron fighter pilot, and he lives a couple of doors up. And his biggest drama for all those RAF-loving dudes out there is that he only gets to fly his F-18 4 days a week. Imagine 4 days a week flying your fast air attack craft over beaches and the coast of Newcastle. How beautiful would that be? Taking just over 8 minutes to get to Sydney. That'd be lovely. I wonder if he's got a GoPro in there. I wonder if he's allowed to have a GoPro in there. If he said to me, "Do you want to jump in, Kaz?" I'd be like, nah. Because I don't want to end up one of those dickheads in the RAF videos that passes out from the G-forces, slobbering all over himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy that, I don't think. He's welcome to it.
There you go. Go crazy. He's talking about sandalwood bands.
Because they're talking about what helps with, like, anxiety. Someone said Valium helps. I don't really like Valium and things like that. I think folks should maybe try non-medicinal things first, and there is a lot, and sandalwood bands and things like that are really quite helpful and can be helpful, but if you need medicine, you need medicine. But, there's a lot of things you can try.
There is, and friendship is one of the best, and trust.
Yeah, to manage it, exactly. But friendship is a really important one. Community is really important. I do yoga. I, do lots of different stuff. I can't meditate, but some people, meditation works really well for them. I do art, but you do photography, so you've really got to ask your medical professionals for some advice and some ideas on what maybe to try. Yeah,
it's one of those ones you have to find it yourself, and it has to be genuine. It really does.
There's no quick fix, but my first thing wouldn't be jump on Valium or things like that if you can avoid it, because once you start those things, it can be a slippery slope.
Don't be racist.
What?
One of my examples of how good the medication can be is it can be so good that you don't use it. For me, if throw a thumbs up in there if any of you have seen it before. Maybe Daz has, I don't know, or Brady. Michael Stott probably definitely has, but and maybe even Mr. P. But there's one called NDEP. I believe it means end depression. But when you have that, you'll be a dribbling monster. You know, you look like Weinstein, you know, at a strippers club. When you have that pill, that NDEP, you just feel yourself go into the land of not caring about a single thing, you know, and it lasts nearly 24 hours. And when you have responsibilities, a life, you're going to drive your car, you've got children, you've got animals to look after. If you get in the habit of doing that, that's how you can end up in a perpetual state of not caring about a single thing, and then wake up twice the size, you know, not knowing who you are anymore, and maybe never coming out of it.
Yeah. JP's going. He's going to go celebrate with the rest of the family. I'll see them after the stream.
What are they going to do? They're going to be having the KFC bucket?
No, they've got some grog. He's going to go have some grog with them.
You just made it sound so dirty.
Grog?
Intellectual fluids, you know. it just creates the conversations that you need to have. But when you call it grog, straight away I think of brown paper bag. I think of the Darwin stubby.
Yeah.
You know, I think of Daz's back seat of his bloody Hyundai at Port Augusta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's like a pirate, it's grog with him. I will go and have a nice, maybe Midori and lemonade after this.
Yeah, get a bloody grog.
Yeah.
Daz, if you're ever going to have NDEP, the best way to have it is the 50 milligrams.
Yeah, and I think his doctor would be best to tell him that, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone has an adverse condition to it. That's the thing about it. But you could sit beside each other and just have one, and this is what it would look like. After 15 minutes, you go at each other. Aye. One of you will have shit in your pants the next day.
Yeah, but there's no point struggling if your professionals can give you some kind of medicine that is going to be good, then, you know, you should try it, I think. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, do tell them. If you don't like to be zombified, do let them know.
Here's Connor. I don't understand this. He's having a glass, now, a beautiful glass. I understand glass is a beautiful thing, looks like a diamond. That's why zirconia go to all the ladies I meet. But Scotch whiskey on the rocks. Now, I see the whiskey drinkers, and I see them hitting the bar. I see their face. It looks like a dog's ass when they drink it, and they're saying that was smooth. You're going, well, your face ain't saying that. Now, I wish I could be a whiskey drinker. I do. But I don't see anyone whose face translates to that was smooth.
Yeah, I know what you mean when they feel the burn.
Even John Wayne hits the bar. You know, killing the termites. Delegate, what's he got to say there, Laura?
Harder anxiety and depression medication tends to try to get your mind to have an uplifting epiphany. I don't know about that. I thought it was about, you know, keeping you stable, but can completely wipe out long portions of your life as a result of the memory loss. I don't know about if that's all drugs. And I'll tell you something, JP had electric shock therapy. Now, that messed up his memory more than any medicine he'd ever been on. So I don't know about that. And I think sometimes, you know, sometimes a bit of memory loss, it kind of comes with as you get older anyway. So I think some of the medicines out there, there's so many, you know, that it would be hard to put them all in one.
Yeah.
You know, lump them in all one basket.
Well,
Kaz, do you think a lot of Australian veterans are homeless?
No.
No, I don't think so either. I think there's an awful lot of charities out there who specialise in it, and we've also got quite a small community, and we've got things like the Overwatch and that, and people can really do keep a good eye on their mates. So before people start saying, you know, there's lots of Australian veterans homeless, just really make sure you've checked that out first, because I don't think there is. We don't have a lot. We don't have them on every street corner homeless. DVA is really good, and, you know, it's difficult to get through, but we have good support systems.
And the reason why I say that is because one, we do have financial support. We do have family. We do have friends. We have relationships.
There's a great community.
And I've given shelter to at least 2 soldiers for a prolonged period of time. If I knew anyone that was homeless, then they'd probably be living in the room beside this one.
Exactly. And there's always someone, like we have too, for short-term accommodation for people while they've found their own place, or we've got them in touch with someone else. So I think, I think most people in our community are the same. If they knew there was someone in trouble, they would put them up even on their couch.
Pardon me. Yeah. You've only got to be part of the military. I don't get on Facebook, but if you're part of the Facebook crowds,
exactly.
they've only got to hear that someone's in trouble, and there's Overwatch volunteer groups that will do GoFundMes, that will step in, and they will help that veteran overnight.
They do a good job. I know that I know that Overwatch do a good job. They do, because you can just say, hey, I'm worried about this person. They made a funny post, or I haven't spoken to them since, or they've just gone through a breakup. And then they will even just use their network to go do a welfare check. And it's got to be better than the cops rocking up, because if someone is doing fine, it's going to be a lot less confrontational.
And that's definitely another reason why I believe that one of the incentives, for the military and even potentially the police force would be all police should be federal. There should be no state police. Okay? And that would mean that you get your Darwin cops from police that are in Sydney that have got to do their time to get promoted, go up there for 2 years, and then they come back. There would be a Kapooka equivalent for the police force for all states. So no matter what state you're in, you've also got the terra firma on what the laws are that in a lot of ways should be voted on. But I believe that there should be villages, military villages, where when someone's getting loud, and I don't mean J-Lo, let's get loud, then someone can walk down a couple of doors, and when your door gets knocked on, it's another veteran. You know that it's someone else, been Army, Air Force, Navy. It's going to go, come on, mate, come for a walk. Let's go and have a beer. Let's go and have a whatever, a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
To get them out of the problem, because when the flashing lights happen, you know that you're already guilty.
That's a crisis. Yeah, exactly. And the whole point is to try and avoid crisis. Chad is just getting into dangerous territory here. If something works for you, that's great, but don't be telling people what herbs to grow and how to use them, because that can actually be pretty dangerous. Let the medical professionals deal with the treatments of that, okay? And if you've got a question about psychology and that, I'm sure Stoddy gives really good advice, and he also knows when to not give advice. So hit up Stoddy about it. He's the expert.
It's true.
But don't be going giving advice, because I'd like to think I would feel bad if I said something to someone and then they went and did it and actually hurt themselves. That wouldn't be cool.
Just moving on from that one, Peter Cram is saying, what did your first week of Kapooka look like, Kaz?
That's a good question.
Well, our Kapooka experience is completely different to what yours is going to be. And the reason is, technologically, you have a lot of things now that we didn't have then. Okay, computers basically didn't exist then. There was no mobile phones either. When we were back there, you didn't have a fitness test to join, but almost everyone was very fit, and the levels of fat people in Australia was almost non-existent. It was there, but it was almost non-existent. So when we got to Kapooka, you got there at night. I believe it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night on the first night. And you were normally in less than a month after you went and did your enlistment examination, and that all happened in one day. And then you got told, this is your date, turn up, and in you go. So you turn up to Kapooka, you're in the platoon. There was no girls in the male platoons, so that means they could run them a lot harder. And basically what occurred was there was 15-kilometre marches in there. There was, in the first week, if you couldn't do 7 chin-ups, then you were back squatted for that. It was straight to a BFA. The BFA was 5 kilometres. Whenever you were injured, if you were out for more than, I think it was 24 hours, you were back squatted. Because you couldn't catch up with the training. There's no room for catch up. It's already 7 days a week. And I think that's even now. I think it's only about 24 hours before you see it later. You can't catch up on 72 hours work with the 40-minute lessons. There's no breakdown briefs of lessons, so to speak, taking into account retraining, etc. If you fail that. All male platoons, there was fights. It was pretty rugged. They could talk to you any way they wanted. They were all male instructors. There was sister platoon there, where they were starting to have female platoons go through, and they kept us out of the hen house, so to speak. It was a pretty good experience. It was pretty physically hard. You were always polishing brass or polishing boots. You were ironing your clothes and ironing your uniforms. Now there's a lot of technical equipment that they're teaching you, and I think they're going too far in some aspects. But Kapooka is never easy, but it's also never impossible. So I always look forward to hearing what your rundown is. And do you know what I don't say? I don't say mine is harder than yours. Because guess what? I haven't done yours, mate. I've done mine. I could say mine was harder physically. But that's because we did PT every single day. It was because we only had male platoons. It was because they back squatted you like a Zyrtec. There was no feelings inside it. I had a great section commander, Corporal Pyer. He was from Transport. I remember him now. I wish him well. But you're going to have your own stories, and I can't wait to hear them, Pete. And I can't wait for you to ring me and go, Kaz, guess what happened? But I will tell you, you've got to start to be religious if you're not, because Sunday is the only day where you get some sort of breath of fresh air, where you go to the Padre, go to the Sunday service, and those that are slow on the uptake, they'll be doing something else, probably work parties. Yeah. Good night, Mr. Patterson. Good night, mate.
Good night, Mr. Patterson. Good night, John Boy.
Yeah. Am I homeless if I can't find my keys?
No, that's what Stoddy and I were just talking about. There's so many different definitions of homelessness. It actually got David Morrison into trouble when he was talking about domestic violence, because there is temporary crisis, then there's long-term homeless, and there's even people couch surfing, and that is considered homeless. Even people in temporary crisis accommodation is considered homeless. And to me, we need to define it better, because when I say homeless, I mean people begging on the street. That's my definition of homeless, is people long-term on the street.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I'm pretty much the same. And there's so many different sort of things where there's grey matter now, where there never used to be grey matter. Like they'd say, this happened to this person. So you straight away jump to conclusions. Oh, okay, that happened.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you find out, okay.
Actually, yeah, okay. They had somewhere to stay, but they weren't actually on the street. But it was a crisis, all the same. But, it's different. Yeah.
What? Okay, here's one for you guys. Australia. Sometimes we hear people that are bagging Australia, so to speak, and maybe I've been guilty of it myself when I feel a little bit let down. What's one country? Type in below, what's one country that you definitely would not want to live in? If you can do that for me. What's one, if Australia is great, what's one country that definitely is not? What would that be?
Well, I don't know. I've not been to any other nations. I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see the countries that people come up with. I've been to a lot.
It would be.
And
Miss Ninja's just said he knows people that would prefer to live in a bush in a dodgy shack.
Yep.
Sure, I would live in a cave if it was socially acceptable.
And no one ever asks a lot of the people that are actually in homeless positions. A lot of them are there by absolute choice.
Yeah, look, I like a simple life. I'm happy cooking on a wood stove. I really like to keep my life as simple as possible. I've got a little mini urban homestead here. I grow a lot of my own food. I keep chooks, so, I like a simple life.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that that show a Fortunate Life with Brian Brown.
Yeah, of course I have.
But wasn't that a terrible show? What he went through, the trials and tribulations. It was.
Yeah, I've actually read the book. Yeah, it was. But important book, really. I think everyone should read that.
Yeah, take responsibility for understanding how lucky we are and how many people have given their lives for us to have it. Okay, so I've got Tyson saying Libya. I agree.
Yeah, okay. Wouldn't want to be there.
Delegate says Zimbabwe. I've been to Zimbabwe. I agree.
Simon Powell said North Korea. I'm with that one. That would be my pick too.
Absolutely.
I would not want to go there. That's the worst place on earth in my mind at the moment.
Dave D mentions his ex, Chad. Oh, no.
Funny.
No, he's talking about the country. The corn chip. Yep. And I think, JJ says Bagstown. I think when we say this, that we wouldn't want to be there, Punch Bowl, Penrith, pretty enough. You got me. It's one thing to have grown up there and not know any different. But imagine what it would be like if the country that you just put down now, you went there tomorrow with what you could fit in your hands and your pockets. You know, because that's the whole thing. A lot of people don't know what they're living in, you know, what's going on around them. And that's the danger when all of a sudden, that Wizard of Oz curtain comes aside and they realise that the life they're in, imagine someone in the little corn chip, okay, North Korea, when they actually find out that South Korea, okay, not only they one of the leading, hey Flies, how you going, mate? And we've got Peter Mayfield there too. We've got them leading industry, you know, in so many areas. But they're right beside an invisible line, the parallel, that's militarised, where they can see people that formerly would have been family members on the other side, absolutely walking through a not only performance they have to put out daily to show that they're a servant of the state, but it's just crazy. Stoddy, yeah, I agree, mate.
Yeah, I agree there too. Yeah, I agree. Especially as a woman, that would suck. Especially, you know, because when you've had better, and you come from a country like Australia, and you go to other nations where we don't have the same freedoms, you know, if you didn't know any better and you grew up there, it would be different than just rocking up there. It'd be awful.
Stoddy.
You know, we. Yeah, he's cheeky.
California.
Certainly, you know, like I see today in the news that North Korea was having a crack at Australia because apparently we've got a terrible human rights record and we don't look after our people. Well, I think they should just feed their people personally first before they make any mention of anyone else.
Hey, Country Rogues reaching out to you there, Lauren, too, down there.
Yeah, go to the Patreon. Have you put up in the description, Kaz?
No. I think he's talking to yours.
Me? No, I don't have a Patreon at the moment. No,
Okay.
I think he's talking about yours.
Okay.
Just in the trenches, isn't it, at Patreon?
Yeah, it's on most videos remarks, but we just haven't got on this one, mate. And tomorrow I need to, for those that don't know, I've just got back home. This is almost the first week I've taken off in 5 years, where I've actually gone and been away for 5 or 6 days with my daughter, where I didn't take cameras, so to speak, other than just a phone in my hand. And I think I needed it. And it was really good. So I'll be getting back onto the messages for those that have joined Patreon in the last few days. Thank you very much. Nutsu Cow.
There you go.
And
hopefully that works.
What about
good night, Simon. Simon's off. Good night.
Simon says,
great to see you.
We hold a lot of respect for our Raffy.
Yeah,
Simon Powell.
Great bloke too.
He's got thick skin, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly, and he's really good in the community. He's great.
What's the time?
Says, hey Kaz, I've just recently passed the full U session, my third attempt, and I have my BFA in 2 weeks. Are you able to tell me what is next from the BFA, as I'm going for infantry and driver? Cheers.
Well, mate, it's a PFA. Make sure you get your what you're saying correct, the acronyms, etc., because they'll pick up on that when you're talking too. So you'll do the PFA, and then from there with a pass, which you should pass. Okay, then what will occur is they will give you a letter after that, a suitability letter, and it should come with a enlistment date. If it gets to a certain amount of time and the time has elapsed of the eligibility of the assessment session, whether it be the psychological aspect, whether it be the medical aspect, or whether it be the PFA itself, they may come in and say, hey, come in and come and talk to us again about the assessment to make sure nothing else has changed in your life. PFA, they might say, come in and do another PFA. That's fine. Go and just do what they do, skip the rope. Remembering that it's harder to get in the military than what it is in the university. And then from there, what will occur is once they actually have that position at Kapooka, they'll lock you into that position. If you say no, you'll go on the very bottom of the pile again. If you say yes, then you could be going to Kapooka within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So don't cancel or quit jobs or anything until you actually have a physical date, and you're normally within 10 days out of that. Yeah? And all the best and well done.
Good night, Connor. Love to the missus for us.
So you can say that. I can't say, Connor, love to your missus. Or they change my name to James. Or Jim's mowing. Happy Australia Day, mate.
Yep. Wallace Bumcroft, who I happen to know, I think I know who that is, has asked when you and I are going to be playing XCOM.
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy.
You're scared.
I love the game. I love
You're
it.
Scared.
Yeah.
You're scared, aren't you?
It all comes. I'm not scared. You know,
I think that might be one of my children. It sounds like a name they'd pick.
Didn't even know how to throw a grenade.
No, I didn't. But I
as a cartoon.
Yeah, you're scared of a girl who can't throw a grenade.
I've seen a few girls that can't throw grenades. I've seen a few guys that can't throw grenades. It scares the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Tyson.
Tyson Walker wants to know any good ways to calm the nerves down before enlistment. Dave D said deep breaths. Yeah, yoga breaths.
Yeah, it just sucks, man. Apprehension sucks. You know, it always does. Tyson, do you know what one of the worst things about being in the military is? I can handle being in danger. I can handle losing yet another fight. But what I cannot handle is when you know that you're either going on operations or you're going on a course or you're going outfield for 2 weeks, 10 days, 3 weeks, 4, whatever, is the night before. When you're there going, here we go again. It makes no difference once you get out and your ass crack is wet, dirty, etc. But the day before, I know, that's good. Kind of just gave us 2 thumbs instead of 3, which makes me click. But the apprehension before you're about to go in a training continuum where you go from just the way we're talking now to 100 miles an hour and competitive against others, that's what I don't miss, is the night before you go out bush, where you're going to have abject discomfort and everything that is around you now is about to poof, sailor, disappear until you get home again. But when you come home, everything tastes better, sounds better, looks better. You love everything. You take nothing for granted when you come home. It's amazing. Hey.
Yep. SOS is there.
Yeah.
Hi, Kaz and team. Off to the last fitness test before Kapooka. Did you receive my email e-gift at Christmas?
I'm not sure. SOS, because I don't look at emails, mate.
You may need to and retrieve that from him.
Yeah, I might need to, mate, because I've got over 47,000 emails now.
Yeah, I don't look at emails either. I haven't. If anyone sent me a message, I'm sorry. I'm really, really slack with them. I'm like the flakiest person in the world.
Not so cow. And SOS, you always feel like he's in danger when you see SOS.
Yep.
Did you watch on the news? It made my heart shudder with the thought. A ship full of guys, a fishing boat, was in water that looked like about, I don't know, 75 metres deep. It's that deep blue where great whites go, and just yawn in and have a great time.
Yeah.
And one of the guys had done his due diligence and had hit the EPIRB. And when they went out there to go and see it, it was just 4 guys, boat completely gone. They reckon it went down in less than 2 minutes, their boat. And each one of them is hanging on to a floating esky, probably with what is below us. And they got out there and they rescued these guys. If they hadn't hit that EPIRB, they were dead, Yeah. And it reminds me... sorry?
Safe stuff. Anyone who's going boating for Australia Day weekend, make sure you do all the safety things that you're meant to do. It might be a pain in the butt, but it could save your life.
Yeah, and remember this one, Dave, who one day will be a captain, that every time you think that you're the master of your domain, the ocean has more than 1 million wrecks that lie on the bottom that were captained by men who thought they knew better.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I did that was amazing the other day?
Grace? Was it amazing, Grace?
Yeah, it was always every day. But the kids put me in the VR headset thing, right?
Yep.
And I was going on a tour of like the ship graveyard of Japan, and it was amazing.
Was it like a game or a tour?
No, it was a tour, like a National Geographic. You can just go on tours of places. It was great. I went to Angel Falls and Petra and all these other places, and it was awesome.
I swear you guys and gals are living in the best of times and may not even know it yet.
Yeah,
the fact that someone with a spinal injury, special needs, whatever it may be, can live in a world where everything can be reopened to them, where you don't have to leave a hospital bed if you're decrepit or whatever, where they could take you to those places where school kids are all going to be, put your headsets on now.
Yeah, it's so good. It's great for me. I don't get out much, so it was really awesome. I love it.
Imagine the teacher, there's 30 kids all listening to, and here we are on the steps of Monte Picchu, and then, and you hear, Squano, no, Squano, Rob, or Bailey's hat, who's trying to trigger me with 3 hands of colour. Get off that site. Have you heard of what does everyone know here about Bitcoin? I won't invest in it. To me, it's the dodgiest thing on earth. But there's a supposable guy who lost his nickname, the password for his $250 million Bitcoin account in 2012. And you only get to do the password 10 times, and then it closes the account and you lose everything. And apparently he's up to 8.
Oh my gosh.
And even the company goes, if someone robs you, we don't care, we don't help. Yep. There is no one that can have transparency in your account. There is no one that can help you. Buyer beware.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. I don't know a lot about it, though.
Shady as hell.
If people want to invest in something, they should be investing in probably precious metals.
Yeah, and yes, I am. Cane and Peppers, Bitcoin is good for dark web. Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, but...
To me, it's all about those people that have money that they don't want people to know they have, which screams of shadiness to me,
Yep. Miss Ninja's made a really good point. He said, how do you know we're not living in VR right now? Well, there's some really, really intelligent people, including Elon Musk, who think we are. It's likely that we're living in a simulated reality.
But you know what?
What?
You're about to have Australia Day, and you can take out any sort of conspiracy theory, and all you need to do is be like this guy right now. Ground yourself. Take your shoes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Step in some cold water, whether it be a river, whether it be the ocean. Have a cup of coffee.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it is a simulated reality. It's our simulation, and it's a good one. Go and feel the water and the sand. go and enjoy it.
You know, people are scared of werewolves, and you go, there's lions out there, and a silver
Yeah.
bullet won't kill them.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Werewolves. I don't know. I don't know about that.
No.
I don't know.
There is a village that, who here, give us a thumbs up if you listen to, and if you don't, you should, to Mr. Ballin.
I know about him because you directed me towards him.
Amazing. Mr. Ballin is an ex-Navy SEAL who started a channel, and then basically got told by the Special Forces community, pull your head in, stop talking about what we do, let them find out the hard way. And so he's made these fantastic, well-polished videos. And there's always normally 3 dark stories. There's never any happy endings in any of them. It's amazing. I love them. I'm addicted. Yeah. But there was one today. There's, you get that Yeti bullshit and abominable snowmans and that, and they find a weird footprint. You go, well, that doesn't scare me. Just like a ghost making a glass move doesn't scare me. But there's a village, which I believe was a timber location, and it wasn't big, and they lost dozens